Dad's headed out with one right now on his way to the yard. Got a pretty good load on the old one stack. Hopefully the road holds up. There's kind of a little sinkhole in the road up there, which we've known about it as long as we've had this job. And I tried to patch it up the best I could last Saturday and had it looking good, but all the traffic's kind of starting to wallow it out again, and that way to the Mac probably ain't gonna do it any justice. But I told him if he has any trouble just to call me and I'll run up there at the skidder or skid steer or whatever we can do. But Kenny's down here over the hill now cutting, so we're gonna go down there and try to fish them out. We're just gonna run through the woods right here where we were coming out last night. Try to fill the deck up again. Dad took, yeah, there it goes. Dad took a pretty good load out, but there's still probably 2 more loads here for the Mac. These tall trees, they make a load of logs pretty fast, so we'll head down, see if we can fill the deck up real quick, get them worked up, add them to the pile. Checking the weather this morning, we've got rain the next 10 days in the forecast, so getting rough for the loggers and the farmers out there. I know that, and construction guys. And for, you know, me and Brandon, we're kind of logging, construction, and even a little bit of farming. We're trying to get some hay out, or hay put up, and it's being a bearcat right now with the weather forecast. And of course, some of our dirt projects are just totally on hold. And well, you guys know the logging aspect of it here in the Midwest. It's rough. It's rough. It'll help the log markets because people are going to get hungry for logs and mills, but good markets don't do any good if you can't get any wood out. So let's jump on here and we'll head down over the hill, see if we can get a few out and get started for the day. Kenny's on the skidder and I'm cutting. Laid down a dead one right there. Trying to salvage everything we can out of these old dead ones that are dying, much like this one here. It won't stave or stave material. We don't sell the stave markets anyway, but look at that. You've seen that little snail crawling up through there. Anyway, but yeah, we can still get some lumber grade material out of these, and it's better to salvage something than just let them go to waste. So now that he's out of the way with that one, I'll get this one here. There's one down here below me. They're just kind of scattered out here on this little ridge. So we'll get to knocking them down. They go pretty quick. As thick and as tall as these trees are, it's kind of a game of pick up sticks and trying to be very careful with your fall, putting it directionally where you need it. So it's taking a little longer on some of them just to get them where you need them to go. I'm hop skipping around a lot, cutting, but I'm trying to make it to where we're not putting trees on top of trees, and for the most part we can keep laying everything kind of downhill out of the way. They say the deck's getting about full. I'm going to try to get a couple more cut before we go up and start working it. It's a good thing about this timber, it's got a lot of young white oak coming on, a lot of young trees, and going through here and just kind of thinning out what's here, you know, opening up the canopy. This timber ought to really come to life. It ought to really improve the overall health of it, because there are a lot of dead trees and snags in here. Here's one, for instance, an old dead tree, and even some of these are cutting a little bad. You can see like this one here has kind of got a swell on the stump. I'd almost bet money that butt cuts a little bad, a foot or two up. You guys that log all the time, you kind of know those telltale signs too. But it's a good dense timber stand. It's definitely time for a thinning. And I love getting to work these kind of, best I can tell, more or less it's like I don't want to say it's virgin timber, but it's been years and years since it's been cut, because I'm not seeing any old stumps. So it's more or less kind of like a first thinning, I guess you could say. You know, maybe in 15 so years we can come back, take a look at it, and see what the timber does. I love getting to go back and look at places we previously logged and see how just the overall timber stand, the ecosystem, how it's benefited from just having a good thinning. Not a clear cut, but a very selective harvest. I mean, that's more or less all we do, is just a selective harvest. So we'll get this one on the ground. I think I hear the Mack on its way back. Dad's about here now, so we'll get this one cut and we'll head up to the deck. Good example right here. Should be able to cut off about a foot and a half of it clears up, but definitely on the downhill slide. Second load of the day headed out. It's about noon, so we're running kind of on schedule for the most part. Maneuvering these long logs around, getting them off the ground so we can buck them. The sand and stuff here will dull you real quick. Even running the chisel chain, that sand's hard on it. Mike's not cutting, he's just packing the saw. He's kind of like my Squire. Yes, my lord. As you wish. We'll let Kenny get a few of these out of the way. He's got some more to lay up on there. We'll start working them up. I kind of like to put that logger a little back further to the north there a little bit to kind of get away from that power line and kind of keep it further up where he's at now, because we've been moving it back, and it's kind of, each time we move that windrow back or a log pile, it kind of cuts down on our deck area. We need as much of that as we can. Just like a minute ago when Dad got here, he had a heck of a time turning around because we had the deck full of logs. So it's kind of a constant battle in getting logs out and keeping your deck clean so we can get the truck turned around. But hopefully we can get a couple more out today. If it doesn't rain too much tonight, maybe get a few loads out tomorrow. We'll just have to wait and see what the weather does. Back from lunch, Dad's up there loading. Kenny's headed out with one. My oil boy stands there ready and waiting. I used my older 661 this morning. This is my new 661C. I've only used it a couple times. And yes, we're walking by a lot of trees that we are going to cut, but as I mentioned previously, it's kind of like a game of pickup sticks out here. We're going to go back over here and get a lot of these on the top and work our way back towards where we were. Michael here is spooling out some cable to this tree that's hung up down here. Let me see if we can zoom in a little bit. You can see him there. It's one Kenny cut yesterday. I'll just give the signal to spool in and I'll buck it off. I'm sitting on a stump having a little intake here. When you sweat out a lot of this stuff, I learned the hard way last summer about trying to keep enough fluid in your body when I had a borderline heat stroke or whatever you want to call it last summer. It wasn't a very fun deal, and I sure don't want to do it again. Get out of the way here, see if I can go down here and cut this off. I guess they're going to keep winching. That's fine too. What's further I have to walk. Drag her on up there. Over the boulder. Mike ran the cable over that hickory tree here on the other wrong side of it. That ain't no good. Alright. Now to round out the day, let Mike have a little playtime on the skid steer. He held logs up off the ground while we bucked them. We're letting him pile them up, kind of give him a little practice. He does pretty good on the skid steer. Very seldom do I ever have to get on to him. He actually does pretty good on it. He doesn't get in a big hurry, which I'm kind of glad of that. He just kind of, as you can see, he takes his time, which there's nothing wrong with that at all. He's trying to get better on it, so I'm glad that he he does take his time. That way he's not tearing anything up. And, you know, just, well, like I said, you can see, he does good. He does good. Some of these kept pretty ornery today. Kind of zoom in here. See that one there, cut a little ornery. Got one right there. A little ornery, you can see it right there. We actually had to butt some off it. You can see some end trimmings over there. Butt it off. All in all, not a bad day. Not a bad day at all. Well, hopefully we can work tomorrow. Definitely not going to make any promises on that. We were talking again there at lunch about the weather situation. I guess for us, they're calling for 2 to 3 inches of heavy rain tonight, which on top of an already saturated soil and area that we've got here in southwest and central Missouri, and even northern Missouri. You know, see some guys leave some comments on there from northern Missouri. You know, it's hard for anybody to work, you know, and it is. We're very, very fortunate right now. We've got some jobs we can get into, and we're not cutting near the production we'd like to be cutting right now. For this time of year, we're not hitting our production, our own personal production goals and quotas right now. But it's slow going. Everywhere you go, it's wet. You know, a lot of this job, you get down below the hill, it's wet down there. There's a road we're going to open up and use, and we planned on using it already, but it's too wet. So that's why we're working up here on top of the hill, winching a lot of logs. It's slow going, but at the same time, we're still moving wood. And that's the main thing right there, to keep that wood moving. So today, initially, the goal was to get a lot of these hard to reach trees, try to get them, and what we've got left over here in this area is all up here on top. So even if we do get a rain, it'll probably make our deck area a little soft and spongy. But as far as having to worry about crawling down and back up out of the hill there, we won't have to on this area. We can get just what's on top, finish cutting them, and we can work our way over here to this next finger and set of draws along the river. And there's going to be a lot of winching over there. That's where the bigger trees are. So a lot to go, a long ways to go on this job. Just day 2 of it. So so far it's, you know, it's cutting about average. There's been some good trees, a good little butt right there, but there's been some ornery trees. That's just to be expected here in southwest Missouri, especially with our oak timber, because it's nothing spectacular at all. I know a lot of you guys back east or back northeast, you guys cut some fantastic oak. We just don't have that here. We've got poor soil conditions, just poor timber quality. Northern Missouri is a little different story. Central Missouri is a little different story. You got some good dirt, but southwest Missouri, you can see it right here, just sand, junk. Well, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow in a video. Maybe we won't. I don't know yet. If anything, maybe Brandon and I will have something up our sleeve, something going on, but we'll just have to wait and see. If you like what you see, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for all of our latest videos.